Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today I'm going to show you my recommendation of your third bird feeder that you would get. This is after you've tried the tube feeder with safflower seed. This is after you've tried suet cakes and different forms of suet cages. So you should have an idea of what kind of birds are coming to your backyard and have an idea of what you would like to feed them or how you would like to attract them more. So the third type of feeder is called a hopper feeder. And this one has suet cakes on the side. I usually don't use the suet cages, but just for fun in this video I decided to load it up with suet cages. But a hopper feeder is any feeder that you pour into the top and it spills out into the tray as it starts to empty. So for the most part, they all look like a barn or a house or something like that. But you can get them in different shapes. It's really just anything top loading that spills out into the bottom. The reason why this isn't one of my first bird feeders I would recommend is now you will really start to run into squirrel problems. If you didn't before with the suet cakes, you will really start to encounter them now. And you can have, in a day, you can have your bird feed just raided by squirrels. So this is where you have to start to be strategic about where you're going to place it in your yard, how you're going to keep squirrels away. Sometimes that creates an extra cost going forward. It creates an extra upfront cost sometimes, but sometimes it has an additional cost going forward as well. But the main advantage of these is now you really start to open up your options to different kinds of bird feed. There's some mixes that are more meant for finches. There's some that are more meant for cardinals. Some are more meant for blue jays and stuff like that. So you really start to have more options about what to feed your birds. And anything you can pour in, and as long as it'll fit through the little gap down at the bottom to spill out into the tray, anything will work with these feeders. So that's their main advantage. But like I said, you have to start planning ahead on how to keep squirrels away. And this is the main way I've done it, is squirrel baffle. So it's just a dome. It's just a metal dome. And I put the rope through the top. And it, squirrels can't, there's nothing for them to grab on so that they can lower themselves onto your feeder. And this is where it takes planning. So I have my feeders hanging from hooks in the roof and one in a tree. So I want my baffle to be above my feeder. If you had your feeder on a shepherd's hook or a fence post, you would want your baffle to be below so they can't jump up to your feeder. So with the baffle, that's part of the additional cost. This is the one I prefer. I got this from one of the hardware stores, I can't remember, but I like the more shallow because to me it's just the way it looks. It doesn't look like it's impeding the view of the feeder. And all you really want is diameter, just enough that they can't, that there's nothing for them to hold on to and lower themselves down onto your feeder, or nothing that they can jump up and around if you have it on the bottom of your bird feeder. So you really just want diameter. So having it shallow just looks better to me. This is my favorite hopper feeder. I bought this from Tractor Supply. I like the wider, let me show you. I like the wider tray down at the bottom because this has become my main cardinal feeder. And so cardinals, as far as backyard birds go, cardinals I would say are pretty medium size, so this gives them room to perch and eat and stay on the feeder longer instead of just flying away. It's made out of recycled plastic, which I like the feel of. It just feels more weather resistant, but it also has a heavier weight. I would say this is heavier than a wooden one of the same size, which I like because squirrels can actually swing. If the squirrel has enough strength to swing a feeder, it can tip it over, spill it out, which has happened before. So this is a good weight. They can't really swing, make it swing or spill it in any way. So that's my favorite combination: the shallow baffle and the wider base hopper. And that took care of most of the squirrel problem for me. But just for added squirrel resistance, I started using spicy birdseed. Like I said in my last video, birds can't taste spicy, but squirrels can, so they'll stay away from your feed more if you use spicy. This is Wild Delight, Sizzle, and Heat. And it shows different kinds of birds on there. Mainly it's for cardinals, I would say. Cardinals and finches. So it looks like that. That's the back. So you want to start thinking about if you're going to use a baffle, whether to use it above your feeder, below your feeder. If you're still having squirrel problems, you might want to get spicy bird food, which is more of a cost going forward that I talked about before. So it's, do you want to plant a fence post in the ground and have your feeder hanging off of that? That might be more of a cost. The baffles are more of a cost. The spicy food is more of a cost in going forward. But that's all up to you, and that's why I would recommend this later on when you have more of an idea of how you want to do it. You can also buy something like this. This is Cole's Flaming Squirrel Seed Sauce. This is something you can mix in with birdseed to make it spicy. I actually added a spray butter sprayer, and for my suet cakes I just kind of give it a spray. I don't know how much I would recommend this though. It doesn't ultimately keep the squirrels away. They'll still, I don't know if it loses potency after a while, or if it runs off after a while, or if rain kind of rinses it off. But every now and then I'll see a squirrel still eating whatever I've mixed with this. And I've tried it all ways. I've tried going by the instructions on the back, measuring it out by the tablespoon per pound, and that didn't ultimately keep squirrels away. I've tried to just spray it on and get it red looking, and that doesn't really seem to keep squirrels away. It will, but ultimately you will see a squirrel braving the heat, I guess. And this stuff is super strong. It'll put a burn on your skin. It's very high capsaicin or whatever. It'll put a burn on your skin. I had some on my finger. I didn't realize it. I like scratched my ear, and I got it inside my ear, and my ear was just on fire. It's really strong. It'll make you cough. It'll make you sneeze. And for something that's not ultimately going to keep squirrels away, I wouldn't really recommend this. But I guess in short term it does work for a few days. But if you're thinking about something like that, you might as well just spend the extra money just buying spicy bird food. So anyway, that's my recommendation for your next bird feeder: a hopper feeder, with a baffle. If that's not keeping squirrels away, use spicy food. Um, the pepper sauce. Um, don't. I wouldn't break the bank, buying this stuff. This stuff can be pretty expensive. If it's not worth even trying, I don't think you're really missing out. But if you're gonna buy something like this, I would just buy the spicy bird seed to begin with. So anyway, don't get discouraged. There were times where I would fill up a hopper feeder one day, and then the next day it was empty, and I would see bird seed all over my yard because a squirrel somehow dumped it out, found a way to dump it out. Sometimes they found a way to completely take it off the hook and spill it out on the ground. And at one point, I was saying to myself, I did this to feed birds and watch birds. I didn't do this to feed squirrels, So I was going to give up, but just keep trying. Try the baffle. Try the spicy seed. Whatever you figure out in the long run, it'll all be worth it. So just don't get discouraged, and keep having fun. And thanks for watching.